first is the big one, and that's the turbine layout. Vineyard Wind has recently modified its layout to minimize adverse impacts to commercial fishing. I'm sure you're all aware that it has selected the largest commercially available turbine and has reduced the area that is not oriented from east to west by over 20%. On November 19th, there was a FAB meeting, and the FAB voted not to accept Vineyard Wind's modified layout, but signaled that they were open to continued discussion regarding fishery studies and mitigation. I just want to, for a moment, talk about the relevant ocean SAMP enforcement policy, which does not require complete avoidance of significant adverse impacts. Rather, it provides that where there are significant adverse impacts, the council may require the applicant to modify the proposal and or mitigate the impacts. Only if significant impacts cannot be avoided or mitigated is the council directed to deny the project. And I would just point to section 1160.1, section 3, for the councils to focus their attention, because there's been some talk that if you're not willing to go east to west, then we don't want to hear about mitigation. Well, that's just not true at all. There's no place in the ocean SAMP is there any requirement that the turbine rows be in an east to west direction. Most importantly here, the ocean SAMP requires potential adverse impacts on commercial fisheries be evaluated, considered, and mitigated.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Wagner, but your request is to extend the stay to allow the CRMC to take up the consistency review at its second meeting in January, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Rather than getting into the substance of the matter, I think what you should do is confine your remarks to what is relevant to the continuance. And that would be that there would be continued discussions between your client and the relevant state agencies and the impacted fishermen. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I will emphasize that Vineyard Wind is committed to making the fishermen whole, as required by the ocean SAMP. And we would like an opportunity to have further discussions along those lines of mitigation. That's really the bottom line here.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wagner, council members? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wagner.